Good morning, folks, and welcome to this week's Torpedo Live. Just give a moment for folks to join. My name is Marc, captain of King's Landing Sport Fishing in Toronto, Ontario. And I'm actually on the boat today, so it's 8 p.m., right on the dot, getting ready to do this week's Torpedo Facebook Live. And I am actually on my boat out of Bluffers Park Marina in Scarborough, Ontario, Canada, which is part of Toronto. Interesting day today. Should have been on the water running a charter this morning, but unfortunately couldn't do a charter this morning as we had some pretty strong winds out of the west. Kicked up. I know there's a weather buoy about probably 5 miles away from the marina, and it was showing I think it was about 4.5 foot waves, which typically we multiply that by 1.5 to 2. So it was pretty gnarly out here this morning. My group and I made a decision last night to cancel. It allowed me to go home, see my wife, get some sleep, and actually sleep in this morning until about 8:30, 9 a.m., which was really nice because something I don't do. Anyways, while we're getting folks to join right now, don't forget to click the like button and also share this, because if you share this, we get more viewers, and with more viewers, we often get more questions, and just makes for a better podcast. So for those of you that are on here so far, today's really going to talk about what's working right now on Lake Ontario, and really what this is what's working for me, what's working for some of the other captains I know in and around, call it the Toronto area on the North Shore of Lake Ontario. I won't have any, unfortunately, I was meant to have a partner in crime doing this today with Lucas, but he is actually running a charter, probably a pretty bumpy one, based on what I know. We now got a bit of a northwest wind, which means the South Shore is probably a little bumpy, but he's running a charter, so unfortunately you're stuck with me on my own. But I want to talk about what's going on here on Lake Ontario, what's some of the stuff that's working for me, so on and so forth. So we've got about I think 15 to 20 people watching right now, so I'll dive right in. So today it's July 13th, Torpedo Live, and July is a pretty awesome month. So fishing here on the North Shore on the Canadian side, we've got an awesome derby called the Great Ontario Salmon Derby, and the Great Ontario Salmon Derby starts on July 1st, and that's the derby that I enter personally. I enter with my boat. I got a boat ticket, so anyone on my boat is automatically entered in this derby. It's pretty awesome derby because the grand prize for I think it's 8 weeks. The grand prize for the 8 weeks is actually a brand new Toyota Tundra TRD truck for the largest salmon of the tournament, or for the derby. But also they have incredible weekly prizes. The top weekly prize every week is $10,000 for first place, and they have prizes all the way down to 22nd. And that's a combination of cash and some pretty awesome prizes from some great manufacturer sponsors. So I'd say that's the first thing going on this lake right now is the Great Ontario Salmon Derby, something I love to do. Look forward to registering in every year, and look forward to hopefully getting my customers on a nice fish that wins them some money and hopefully even a truck. But let's talk a bit generally about what the fishing has been like this year. So I don't care if you're on the North Shore or the South Shore of Lake Ontario. The common theme has probably been that it is a small year class for fish. We're not seeing the giants. If I think back to a couple of years ago in our derbies on this lake, we were already seeing I want to say 40-pound fish in the first couple of weeks of our derby. Right now, I think the leader of the Great Ontario Salmon Derby is a 33-pound fish, and I think there's only probably 2 or 3 other 30s being weighed in call it the first 2 weeks of the derby. Bit light, so the fish are lighter. Even 29s, 28s, 27s seem to be few and far between. If you catch a 24, 25, 26 right now on the North Shore, that's a big fish. So I'd say that's the first thing going on in the lake, is it does feel like a smaller year class. I'll tell you, running charters right now, we're pretty happy if we get 3 or 4 matures, and that's myself. That's my, call it my peer captains on the lake. 3 or 4 matures. We're pretty happy. We're seeing a ton of two-year-olds. The 2-year-olds are quite healthy, but not a ton of big 17, 18, 20 plus fish. We're getting a lot in that 8 to 10 to 12 pound range. So that's another thing that's kind of going on the lake right now, what we're seeing in the Canadian side. But I've also spoken to a number of the captains on the South Shore as well, and it seems like they're seeing the same with the smaller fish. What else are we seeing? I think many of you are probably aware that we had some stocking cuts over the past few years, and we're probably feeling the impacts of the stocking cuts right now as less fish were put in. And part of those stocking cuts was because there was concerns about the bait fish. Well, let me tell you my opinion, but there is a lot of bait this year. There's some days last week when I was out, my sonar screen, my Panoptic screen, literally full. There was no real estate left on the screen because it was full of bait. It was truly like the all-you-can-eat buffet. And I tell you, those days were making the fishing really tough. You'd get some great bites really early, and then after that, you would see kings just smashing schools of alewife, and you'd struggle to get a bite. You'd work really hard at it. Be zigzagging, do whatever you could to try to make your bait stand out in tens, if not hundreds of thousands of alewife. But lots of bait, which I think honestly is probably a good thing. Last night I was coming in from a charter, slowly just trolling in, and you could literally see the water boiling, and it was boiling with bait. Trust me, it wasn't boiling because we'd had it cool down a lot, but the water was boiling with bait. So that's the other thing that I think's going on. Lots of bait in the fish. I would say the fish that I have filleted for guests of the boat, they've had full bellies. I've had fish where literally I'm taking the knife, cutting the fillet off, and I catch the belly, and literally they just start spewing out alewife everywhere. 6, 7, 8 fish, and all different year classes. We've got some in the 2-inch range, and some where they're in the 7, 8-inch range. It's actually funny. One thing I've started running this year was these massive spoons here. They're like a big urn. I typically never ran a big spoon like this. I was more standard or maybe a mag guy. Here's a mag next to it for perspective, right? So it's quite a bit bigger, quite a bit fatter. And I've been running this in a 300 torpedo weighted steel, and wow, it's been taking a ton of bites. And as I start to see some of the bait and the size of the bait, I'm not surprised that big spoon is taking a lot of big hits. So I'd say that's the other thing going on for me on the lake, is I'm seeing a lot of really good bait. So then really how the trip's been going, I'd say overall the charters have been good. We've been getting good, decent numbers of fish, happy guests. On the Canadian side here, folks with a sport license can keep 5 fish, no more than 2 steelhead or trout, rainbow trout, and the rest can be salmon or 5 salmon. Most of my guests do not keep all the fish. They're typically happy if they take home, 1 or 2 per person. I do a lot of 3, 4, and 5 person charters, and I've been getting them all the fish they want pretty much every trip. So that's a real positive. Just would like to have more bigger fish. That being said, let's talk a little bit about what happened over the last couple of days, and then I'll maybe start showing off some of the hardware I've been using, because I know folks love to see the various different hardware. But over the last couple of days, what's happening? So I was out on today's Thursday, so I was out on Tuesday morning. Tuesday morning, I was out with my father and a buddy of mine on my dad's Trojan 11-meter King's Landing 2 big boat, and we took that boat on purpose. I wanted to set up his smart troll and get it all figured out and teach him how to use it, and B, we knew there's gonna be some pretty strong southwest winds, so we'd take the big boat, super heavy, super stable. So we took that boat out, and out of Bluffers Park Marina, we decided to go east, and we trolled anywhere from, I want to say, 100 to 150 feet of water. And on Tuesday morning, we absolutely crushed them. We got mature after mature after mature. I think we were something like 15, 16 bites in about 5.5 hours. 6 rod spread, and we were really happy. Good fishing, and actually the craziest part was almost all of our bites but 2 came on when we were trolling east. When we spun around trolling west, granted it was later in the day, we only took 2 bites. So that would be the other piece. But really good fishing. That morning I would say flasher fly was working, but it was mainly a flasher meat bite. We did have an artificial similar to this. Take a couple of shots. We weren't able to stick them. But really good fishing on Tuesday morning. but we knew by the time we were coming off, it was gusting pretty hard, probably in 3-foot rollers. So we knew it was going to probably change the water. So there goes Wednesday. So Wednesday I was out and I had 2 charters on Wednesday. So in the morning, I decided to set up and just kind of go out slowly. Sorry. And so I trolled out to 50 feet of water, and I instantly noticed that we'd lost about 10 Fahrenheit of surface temperature, meaning it had cooled down, and that was 50 feet. So I trolled out to 100 feet, picked up about a degree or two, but it was still cold. At 150 feet, we were still about 10 degrees off from the previous day, and I decided to drop a probe in the water. So I dropped a probe in the water and put it down 40 feet. And at 40 feet, I was greeted with 44, 45 degree water temperatures. So I knew it cooled down because the previous day we were looking at 53, 55. So the water had cooled. So at that point in time, I said to the guys, I had a 2-person group. One of the guys, pretty avid fisherman, I said, hey, this tell me I should go out deeper. We agreed. I put the boat on plane, I powered up, and I went out to about 280, 290. Set down in 280, 290. I had, I want to say there, it was about 66, 67 degrees Fahrenheit surface, so only about 3-4 degrees Fahrenheit off my current, my previous day's surface temp. So now it's time for the moment of truth. Let's put a rigger in the water. I put a rigger down 50, and I was greeted with, I think, 50 Fahrenheit, 51 Fahrenheit. I was happy. So started setting up and kept trolling south towards my friends in the U.S. Didn't cross the border, though, but towards my friends in the U.S. And set up with, I want to say I set up with the 3 riggers first. My high rigger was spoons. My deep rigger was meat. And my in-between rigger was meat. Had the diver set as a mag diver with meat and a higher diver with fly. And then I put out a 200 weighted steel with a flasher fly. It's one of my favorite flasher flies. I make it myself. It's called a slushy with, it's like almost like a mirage and green fly, a Yoda glow fly. And then on the other side, I put a 10 color with spoon. And that was the spread, and I continued to troll out. And it was pretty good. We were greeted, actually. I think we ended up going 13 for 18, trolling from 290 to 410, spinning the boat back, and then trolling from 410 all the way into 260. I'd say half the bites were kings, half the bites were rainbows or steelheads, whatever you want to call them. The kings kings yesterday morning, they came on the deep stuff. 125, 130 rigger, took some nice kings, including a couple of matures. 250 mag slide diver with meat, took another really nice mature, and then I think one of the fly down 150 feet on the standard diver. I think that took a mature. They made a couple of smaller salmon and a whole bunch of kings. It's interesting. I see Brian Richardson make a comment here about the fleas being real bad on the east shore. That's the one thing I noticed yesterday. All the fleas are being pushed out deep with the warmer water, so the fleas were brutal. So yeah, just an interesting comment. Yes, definitely that warmer water has the fleas, and now that there's less warmer water, the fleas are very condensed. What was interesting though about yesterday morning, normally the spoon rigger can be just jumping, especially when I go deep. The spoon rigger didn't do a whole lot to the point that I pulled the spoon rigger and put another meat down, and it started taking more hit after hit on meat. So that was yesterday morning. Yesterday evening, I was gonna do the same, but I got a text from one of my buddies who was running his charter out there, and he told me that he found some fish a little bit closer. I set up about 210, and we got a really nice class of rainbow trout or steelhead. So I started at 210, trolling south, plucking away at steelhead. Got out to about, I'd say 310. It was all steelhead. Spun around, started trolling back in. And as we got inside of about 230, 220, started picking up some salmon and ended up with 3 salmon. 4 salmon. Unfortunately, one of the salmon, the big mature, it was on a 250 mag diver. It gave one heck of a fight, and unfortunately we lost it. But we got 3 2-year-olds on spoon rigger actually. So that was yesterday. So I don't know what tomorrow's got in store, because today was a a wash with the winds. But I already know I've been speaking to a couple of recreational guys that are out there right now, and they are telling me on the North Shore right now, if you know Toronto, and we have this area called the Drop. If you're fishing the Drop in anywhere from call it 80 to 160 feet of water, when you put your rigger down 40 to 50 feet, you are greeted with 41 to 40 degree water down that deep and a surface of around 61, 62. So while we've got a bit of a warm surface, the moment you put your rigger down, it seems like 30 feet or below, you're greeted with 40 degree water. So for me tomorrow, winds are looking good. I'll probably go offshore or at least go to probably 250 and start trolling out looking for that warmer water. That's what I'm thinking right now. So I'm going to flip into talk about some of the gear that I've been using and what's been working for me. But before I do that, just a reminder to like and share this video, and don't be afraid to ask any questions. I haven't seen a lot of questions coming in yet. I'm kind of telling my story, but I'm happy to answer any questions that you guys have. And actually, I've got Joe asking a question about the fleas. So, are the water fleas as bad in the North Shore of the lake? Just heard out of Wilson and Olcott. So, Joe, they were bad. They were very bad 3-4 days ago. I'd be bringing in a wire diver, and you'd have 2 feet of fleas stuck to it. Luckily, the wire diver with a Torpedo 7-strand would just blast it off. I run 40-pound monofilament on my rigger lines. Not so bad with the fleas. You can get it off pretty easy. But my spoon rods are 20-pound, and they were an absolute nightmare. That being said, we are now iced out over here. So we don't have any of the fleas in the ice water. But yesterday I was out in, call it 290 to 400, and we have icy water. Sorry, not icy water. We have lots of fleas. That's the sleep deprivation, even though I did sleep in this morning. But we have lots of fleas. So the fleas are part of Lake Ontario when the water gets warm. That's what I've noticed. Okay, so now let's get into some questions, and then I'll start talking about some of the hardware. I've got Stephen Connolly asking, what is the ideal temp I'm looking for? Good question, Stephen. The best way for me to describe, first of all, is I'm looking for not just a temp, but I'm looking for a temperature break. And what I mean by that is I'm looking for decent surface temperature, 60, 62, 65, even 69, 70, 72. But I'm looking for a nice break where when I put my rigger ball down at 40, 45, 50, I start seeing 53, 54 Fahrenheit. And then what I will do is I will then cover, because I'm a charter captain on the Canadian side. We can run 2 rods per angler, not like you guys in the US who can run 3. But if I'm running an 8-rod spread or even a 10-rod spread, I'll cover the water then from that 53 Fahrenheit all the way down to 43, 42 degrees Fahrenheit. Some of my best kings this year have come in 42. This year, I don't know why, because different years I find it's different, but this year I'm finding a lot of really good success in 47 and 48 degree water. Again, when it's set up and has that nice break, but I'm finding my better kings are coming in at 47 to 48. But really, I'd like to see, 53 degrees-ish down 40 to 50 feet, and then a nice, call it broad temperature break. I run the Smart Troll system, which allows me to have probes in all 3 of my riggers. And I can also have probes on my divers and my long lines if I wanted to. So what I'll do often is I've got the 6 probe captain's kit. I'll put probes in all 3 riggers, and I'll at least, if not probably 1 or 2 of my divers. And that way I can really get a good sense of what the temperatures are across the entire water column. It saves me having to run a probe up and down like a fish hawk. So that's kind of neat, but that's what I'm looking for temperature. But I'm looking for the break. That's the important part for me. If I got a 50 degree surface and it's 50 at the surface and it's 50 all the way down to 50 or 60 feet, typically I don't find that's good fishing. I feel like you want the bait. Sorry, I want the break. I'd also say I feel like the bait is looking for the warmer water. So, if I think about yesterday where the lake had flipped, not flipped, sorry, the lake had cooled down, the bait was up high. So instead of being in the 40, 50, 60 feet range, the bait was jammed at like 10 to 20 feet because that was where the warm water was. So that'd be just something else I could share. The next question I got from Jack is, where am I out of? Jack, I am out of Bluffers Park Marina in Toronto, Ontario, on the Canadian side of the lake. So I'm a North Shore fisherman. I run King's Landing sport fishing, 2700 Tierra Open. That's what I use. and I've been fishing this. I've been fishing out of this port now for 32 years. I love fishing here. It's a great spot. Okay, next quick question. I got Ron asking me: is there an update for Smart Troll? There was a recent firmware update for Smart Troll in the last couple of weeks, and there was a couple of app updates. I'm on their beta testing program. I'm also the Canadian dealer for Smart Troll through my website projectsalmon.ca, and I can tell you that I am just testing a new version of the app right now. I can't tell you when it's going to be released because we're just testing it. Want to make sure it's figured out with all the bugs figured out, but so far it's looking pretty promising. Okay, so keep asking any questions you guys have, but I want to talk about some of the things that have been working for me. I got rigs and spoons all kind of scattered around me here as I do this video. I'm going to start with spoons, and I'll start with some of my morning spoons first of all. So for me, first thing in the morning, I typically always put a spoon rigger down, and these are my two go-to spoons for my spoon rigger. These are mag spoons. You can see one's crushed glow with black dots. The other one is crushed glow with UV slick with black dots. These are my go-tos. You may not be able to find the exact spoon, but I'm a glow with black in the morning are my go-tos. Let's get started spoons. So those are two of them. The other go-to spoons for me first thing in the morning are Carbon 14. I've got an RV and I got a regular one here. So the regular one here is just a standard Carbon 14. And this one here, this is one I made myself. This is a black with the Crush RV with an eye on it. And then the back, I've actually got a little bit of a silver outline. Glow with, again, I've got a UV eye. This is another good one for me in the morning. So those are call it 4 or 2 of my morning kind of presentations. The other ones I'll put out in the morning. This one's been going on my 300 weighted steel. Is this big guy here? This big spoon here. It's been doing well. It's similar to the spoons I just showed you. It's crushed glow on one side, UV slick on the other, with green and black dots. This on a 300 weighted steel has pulled some pretty nice mature kings for me. So I'm really happy I started putting this in my spread. Not surprised the bait has been really, really thick this morning. I think I just got asked what's the backside of this. It's just a hammered silver backside of this one. Nothing special on the back. It's been doing really, really well. The other one I'll put out probably in the morning a little bit when it's sun's kind of coming up. It's similar idea. This is a mag. I also have it in a standard. It's you've got your Mountain Dew with black dots and you got your Crushed Glow with green dots. This is one of my own. I've made this myself. I'll put that out in the morning. As you can tell, I like dots. This particular one here, this one will stay out all day. This one here with the glow and the UV, stay out all day. You can see a theme, a trend here. This one here will stay out all day. Now, there's a few other spoons that I love to run. This one right here, I do not know the name. It is a hot fish spoon. It's green and chartreuse with a glow ladder, with a little bit of silver coming through the front and a silver back. This one just stays on my 10 color. It does incredibly well on the 10 color. If you can't find this spoon, I think there's the Can't Afford It spoon. That's a pretty popular spoon with similar colors. That would what I would replace this with. And then 2 of my go-to spoons. When the sun's out, these are out. And it's because I'm fishing for very healthy salmon, and they like their vegetables. They're mixed veggies. So the mixed veggie spoons, I've got a Stinger UV mixed veggie, and I've got an NK mixed veggie. These ones are standards. I've got the mags sitting up on my spoon rigger rods above me. Those have been some really just go-to spoons for me is the mixed veggie. You'll notice that some of my spoons have singles, some of my spoons have trebles. I'm a single hook guy, but my typical rule is I put them out with trebles. Once those trebles either get mangled or bent or start to feel that they're not hooking up well, all those trebles get replaced with singles. The other spoon, I want to show you 2 more spoons, and these are more so when I'm fishing for coho and for steelhead, but kings like them too. This one right here, this is a standard size. I've also got a mag, or UV slick, Crush Glow, orange dots. And then the other one I'm going to show you, and it's funny, I never fished this spoon before in my life. I got this one. I got this one at the Salmon School show at the Lotsa show this year. It was in the free goodie bag, and I put it out, and it's awesome. I'm gonna have to buy more of them. I think this is called the 42nd Street. It's black, green. It's a darker green actually, and then it's got a holographic ladder with a glow ladder underneath. My ladder's actually peeling off now because it's taking so many whacks. But this thing's being really, really good for both kings and steelhead. And you can see it's actually attached to my slider. It stays on the slider. So that's a good one for me. It's been working well on the spoons for me on the slider this year. So that's what's been going on for my spoons. And actually, as I say this, I've got Ed telling me that it's one of his favorites, and he uses it on a 400. I'll have to try it sometime, Ed. I don't have very many. I've got one, and it's a super slim. So I'll have to try and get some mags or standards. Okay, I'm getting some questions now. What size single hooks do I use? Mag spoons. 1 sec. Let's get this going here. Mag spoons, I use a 4/0. That's a 4/0 right there. And standard spoons, I think that's a 3/0. So 4/0 for mags, 3/0 for standards. It's funny. I got a question here from Ed saying, where's the seasick waddler? So I know a lot of guys love that spoon. I know anytime you ever hear Richard Hajeki, he talks about the seasick waddler as being one of his go-tos. I can't catch a fish on that spoon. I have a couple in my box over there. I can't catch a fish. Now, maybe I need to put it out more. I just don't have the confidence in it. Now that you're asking me, Ed, maybe I got to put it out tomorrow morning. I don't know, but it's just not a go-to for me. But I'm one of my buddies. He uses I talk about the mixed veggies, how I do so well. One of my buddies has a spoon called the Sexy Veggies. It crushes fish for him. I can't catch a fish on it. So, just because it works on someone's boat doesn't mean it's going to work for me. So, there you go. And he says Pete says that also. Don't worry. There you go. And Pete's a Tierra guy. Rick's a Trojan guy. So maybe I got to go with Pete. My dad drives our Trojan. So, anyways, that's what's going on for spoons. Let's talk about some of the flies. So for flies, I'm less fussed on the actual, the brand and the name of fly. I'm more so looking at the colors. So I'm going to share some colors of flies and paddles that are working well for me. These are some of my own. You're going to see a lot of the flashers are my own. So many of you know I have a company, not just Kings Landing Sport Fishing. I have a company called projectsalmon.ca. Projectsalmon.ca is a tackle company. I make all custom painted flashers. I sell flies. I sell divers. A Canadian dealer for slide diver. Canadian dealer for smart troll. Pretty. I'd say pretty good end-to-end salmon website. We are running out of stock now, and I'm on the water, so I'm not stocking up as much. But a lot of them are my own stuff. But this is one I've been doing really well with right now. This is I call this a green split personality. You notice I love dots. So this one here, I've got the green holographic with Crush Glow, black dots, green dots on both sides. And then I've got just the green. This is like a light green, darker green with some UV tinsel fly. 24-inch lead. This by far is my stud fly of the year. On a standard diver, whether it be a slide diver or just a regular standard diver like the Project Salmon Black diver, I'll run this, and I will run this typically back anywhere from 100 to 150 on the standard diver. It's done incredibly well. So it has a sister or brother, and it's this one. It's the chartreuse version. So this is the chartreuse split personality. Chartreuse. Glow, same dots, very, very similar fly. This fly is one I made myself. It's got some floral green, it's got some dark green, it's got some UV, and it's got a little bit of glow in it. This one does. Another really, really, really good one for me. So my best flies have been on green blades and chartreuse blades. I don't have it with me, but I also had a green blade glow black IP that I make. It's done really, really well. Actually with a pickled sunshine fly, and Garland's talked about a pickled sunshine fly. So yes, that's a great fly. I'm happy to say I have that one on my site as well. It works really, really well. Um, you know, if it's a bit overcast or early morning, I want to put a fly out. This one's one I put out. This is a somewhat simple two face. Green dots, crushed glow in the front, and I've done an oil slick on the back here with black dots. And this fly is, I want to say this is an atomic fly. I don't know the name, but it's glow, it's light green, it's some UV, and I think it's got the blue bubble on it. This one's been pretty good for me as well. It's and then let's see what else I have here for flies. I think I'm gonna get rid of that one other one I've been playing around with because the ones I've got have been working, and it's this one right here. So this is actually one of the new Stinger sidekicks, and this is a Stinger sidekick. It actually started life as just a chartreuse. Because I'm in the custom business, I made it into a chartreuse stud. And I've got what looks to be kind of like, I think it's like a hammer fly on here. That's taking some fish. That's been better for me when the sun comes up with a chrome blade. And then the last one here, and this is this one I think, yeah, this is one I wanted to made myself too. This is actually an 11-inch flasher. So I got a much longer leader on this because it's an 11-inch flasher. There's no fin on this. This flasher started life as a purple onion from Gibbs, and I added some green dots to it. And this fly here, it's fluoro green with some looks like some UV and some glow with some glow beads, rigged with double octopus hook set. Longer lead. I think this one here, I've got about a 33, 34-inch lead. I've actually ran this a few times down on like a 100 or a 125 rigger and picked some nice matures with it. And then the last one, and this is one of my customs that I made a few years ago. I've never actually sold this one on the website. Probably going to bring it out next year. There's a whole bunch of guys, tournament and charter guys that have this on their boat that they got from me. But it's kind of like an MBK ladder on top of crushed glow. And then the back it's a white back chrome blade. And I've got this with, if you go to my site, it's called a Yoda Glow fly. And it is, I say it's kind of like it's similar to like a glow stud. It's got glow, it's got some green, it's got some UV. It doesn't have the blue bubble like the stud, but it's very, very similar. This one's been real good for me as well. I put this one out typically when it's a bit sunnier because it's got a lot of bling on it. Plus the white back I think works really well in the green water. Okay, a couple of questions coming in. I'll flip over to meat rigs. Okay, do I get my material from Taco? I'm assuming you mean Purple Taco. Yep, I get my material from Purple Taco. Great guys over there. I'm in Canada, so it's always a pain getting stuff from the United States. And when you order it from Purple Taco, they make it super easy, and it usually arrives in like a week to 10 days for me. So they are really, really great. Sorry you see me a bit distracted here. I got a guy whipping in the marina right now, and I'm on a fixed dock. So this boat's going to start rocking back and forth because it's really nice of him to whip in. But as I look at the boat, I can tell it's a rental boat. So there's nothing I can, not surprised. They're not avid boaters. It's a rental. Okay. What are your thoughts on the E-chip? I might hurt some feelings here. I don't think the E-chip does anything. A lot of my paddles now, they're either double fin or this is one of my own, no chip, just the fin. So now if you buy an 8-inch from projectsalmon.ca, it's going to be one of these paddles with no chip, or it's going to be probably a double fin. I don't really think the E-chip does a whole lot. When I think about the way it rotates, there's a little ball inside that tube. I think that ball's stuck in the corner and doesn't really move a whole lot. That being said, I think an E-chip and a fly makes a ton of sense because I think that fly's getting whipped around, and I think it does. Does something there. Okay, before I get into what's been working for the meat rigs, I got an important question here. So Sean is coming out with me tomorrow night, and so hopefully it's good evening bite after the blow today. I hope so, Sean. You're gonna have the benefit of having me out in the morning. I've got an 8-hour charter in the morning, and then I've got you out for 5 or so hours in the evening. So hopefully I can figure it out in the morning but already got some intel based on some boats out there. So I think I got a bit of a starting program, and we'll take it from there. Hopefully, my gut feeling and based on what I know pays off. Okay, next let's talk meat rigs. I'm gonna do this in a bit of a reverse order. I think about what I run at different times of the day. So let's talk. And I got a bunch of meat rigs here because I've been doing a lot of playing around here. Let's talk first thing in the morning. And there's one I don't have here, which I probably should, and that's my carbon 14. It's in the cuddy, but you all know what a carbon 14 is. I have that in both an 8-inch and a 10-inch shotfish. But another one of my go-tos, and I've actually got two here in Kingfishers, and I've got one here on an 8-inch, and I have these in both glow blades, and I have them in green, and I have them in chartreuse blades. It's the Lightning. Big fan of the Lightning. So this is a white Lightning here. This is a white Lightning on a Kingfisher style. Actually, this is a Kingfisher. Yeah, it's a glow Kingfisher. Lightning, glow in the back. This have got like one of my custom heads. I actually haven't put this on the site yet. I probably should at some point. But this is a glow gator head with these are some old raptor flies that I cut down for Twinkies. I just found these in a box from years ago, and I put them on, and it's working really well. Okay, another one that's doing really well. This is probably even better than that one in the morning, and I'll explain why. It's another white Lightning, right? So the blade's the same blade, Oki Kingfisher glow. This has got just a plain glow head with a red eye, but I got the Twinkie squids on here, small little glow squids, and I think that's what makes this one even better in the morning because they glow. All these things do is glow. So that's one of my go-to morning rigs as well. Goes down in the deep rigger. If I'm my deepest rigger, if it's 125, it's going 125. If it's 150, it's going 150. Okay, that's some of the morning stuff. I got some more. Same idea. I got an old school 10-inch big weenie here that I made years ago. Glow eye. This one's got no Twinkies. This will often go on a diver first thing in the morning. Some other ones that I've been playing around with here. I think it's again another Oki Kingfisher. I think they call this one like a Casper, but it's a modified Casper. Glow strip on the front, bit of white, silver and black eye. You got similar. It's a glow presentation, glow bait head, crush glow, and I got the black and glow Twinkie squids. Another one that I put down first thing in the morning. If it doesn't glow, it doesn't go first thing in the morning for the most part. Okay, let's see what other ones I've got here to show you. As the sun comes up, I'd say I start to modify a bit. I'll put this one out. This is and this isn't one of my customs. This is just the one you can actually. Before I talk about this, I missed a few. Sorry, I missed some of my smaller ones in the morning. My gosh, I've missed this one. This is my 8-inch Moo flasher that I make and put on my site with my Moo head. This thing is awesome. This will often go down first thing in the morning on my mag diver. So if I've got a 200, 250 mag diver, so I'm trying to get down in that, call it 80 to 100 feet of water. This thing is on it, so that way it's not too much drag. It catches fish. And what's great about this, there's even been days where I've left this out almost all day. So I was fishing a tournament. We left this out almost all day, and I think it took over half our fish. So this is a really good one. Simple, but effective. The other ones I forgot to mention in the morning ones are, it's like a stinger frog, but Lightning on the back. With again a green head with glow and a bunch of Twinkies. So that's kind of the morning presentation. So now let's talk about, the sun's starting to come up. Now I start putting down, the bullfrog. These are some Twinkies that I made. They've got some green, they've got some UV, they got some glow, and I've got a frog bait head that I've made, one of my customs. Unfortunately, I'm all sold out of this. Sorry, guys. That goes down. Then I also start putting down, and this is a fish and chips. I've had this for years. It works great. Green blade, crush glow, green dots, crush glow, green dots. This one's clean, green. This is actually a green John King, but it started life as a clear, and I painted it green with a clear green paint and with Hulk dots. This one's done really well for me for years. Then as the sun continues to come up, This is one I've been playing with this year. I'm trying to try some different flashers. I'm a bit of a flasher junkie. I've been trying these sidekicks. I don't know the name of this one. I'm terrible with the names of the other manufacturer brands. Someone's going to tell me in a second what it is. But basically, it's got the green stripes in the front. It's got the Mountain Dew in the back. It's got a green Hulk head. Again, I think I'm sold out of this one too. Sorry. It's got some black, green, and glow Twinkie flies that I made myself. This one's done really good actually. On my high rigger, which is usually about 50 feet, or in a high diver. Okay, let's also keep going. As the day progresses, I put out my 8-inch split personality. I got a black dot version. I got a green dot version somewhere here, but I don't know. And this is a clean one with just a bait head. Here's the green dot version with glow and UV Twinkie flies. Both work. For me, I'm trying to figure out what do the salmon want. Do they want Twinkies? Do they not want Twinkies? I find if the fish are a little spooky, then I start ripping the Twinkies out, put clean meat in. I got the benefit. I've got the Panoptic system. I'm running the PS30 in the flipped configuration, so I can see the fish from the front of the boat, come into the spread, see how long they hang out at which rigger, if they're at the ball, if they're at the flasher, and then if they leave or not. If I see a fish come in at the flasher too many times and they don't bite and they leave and it's Twinkie rig, I'm putting a clean out. And often by doing that, we get bites. So that kind of answers, I think, the question here on Twinkie or naked. That's how I look at, are the fish coming in repeatedly and not taking a bite? I'll either change colors or I'll change up the rig and actually put a clean rig on. Okay, next. So then as we continue through the day, I start to bring more bling into the equation. So again, I got a hot fish 10, split personality, black dots. So you got your UV, you got lots of UV, lots of bling here. I've got the green split personality, holographic, and lots of bling here on the Twinkies that start coming in. I got a chartreuse version with the matching bait head, with chartreuse and UV Twinkies. That's as the day's progressing. And then the other one I've got a very simple, just a chrome blade, UV green dots, with a chrome and yellow head. And then I've got another one I've been playing with. I'm not much of a Spin Doctor guy, but this has been working. This I think it's some form of Spin Doctor Nuclear. This one's a white with some black and glow dots. It's chrome back with crushed glow. I've got some glow and UV Twinkies with this UV slick bait head. This thing's done really well for me. Mag diver or rigger, it's been done really well. I wish I had more of these, but I don't. I'm not much of a Spin Doctor guy. And then I'd say one of the last ones for me, and this actually answers another question. This has been really good for me. This is, I run this all day long. I'll put this out first thing in the morning, and I will leave it out all day long and take fish. This is the Project Salmon.ca Hotfish 10 split personality, can't decide. And this one's got black and glow Twinkies on it. You got UV. And I've actually got this mated with what I call my green animal bait head. And I've actually got right now, I've got an artificial strip in here. This is a Bite My Herring strip that I've trimmed off the tail. That's the neat thing about the Bite My Herring. They got a tail on them, which comes out to about here. If you want to trim them off, you can trim them off. I run a lot of, call it real meat. I brine my own herring. But I've been taking some good fish with this particular green frog strip. So that's been working well for me. And folks, I think that's it, except for this last one here. And this is a newer flasher for me that I've been playing around with. This is one of my own customs. I'm gonna have these next year. I don't have any this year, and I won't. This is an 11-inch with a fin. This one, unfortunately, you can see it's broken off. Customer got the. I ran this clean with a green animal bait head, and let's just say the customer got it caught in a downrigger and snapped it off. But this has been really well for me. Good for me also. Put it out in the morning, but leave it all day. It's got that nice bling as well. So that is it for me. I need to ask the question of the day. So my question of the day, actually, before I do that, I'm going to ask the question of the day, and then I'm going to answer some other questions. So let me do that. So my question of the day is, at the beginning of this video, I talked about a particular derby that I like to participate in and that I register my boat for. So what is the name of the derby that the Kings Landing Sport Fishing Tiara and myself compete in through the months of July and August on the North Shore of Lake Ontario? While we're waiting for answers to come in, so type in your answer. First person to get the answer will win. It is not the Ontario Salmon Slam. That's a cool name for one, but that's not. It's not the Ontario Classic. I'm seeing names. I've got Garland Hancock has used the abbreviation, the GOSD, and that is correct. It is the Great Ontario Salmon Derby. So Garland, you are our winner today. So you will get the prize pack from Torpedo. With that, Tina and Ryan, you were close, but Garland was first. Unfortunately, he got it before you. But just a couple of questions first of all that I've seen coming in, and then I'll let everyone go for the evening. So let's see, where are the questions? They were here somewhere. I know there's a question asking me how's the thermocline set up. I'd say it's not right now. After the 2 days of winds, we don't have great water. We got to try and there it is. We got to try and find some good water. I think the thermocline and good water is gonna be out deep. I'm willing to bet it'll be a 300 plus to find good water tomorrow. That's my guess. The other question I had here was, how long do you like to have your lead between flasher and clean meats, and at what down speeds are you running them? So I 8-inch paddle. I'm about 5.5 to 6 feet, sometimes a little longer, but 5.5. 11-inch paddle or 10-inch paddle, I am probably closer to anywhere from 6, 7, even 8. And let's just say I've got some kingfishers that are probably 8 to 10 feet. I've got some really long ones for kingfishers. So I play with them. I would typically lean to a longer lead versus a shorter lead myself when I'm running meat. That's my go-to. But good question. Okay, so that's this week's Torpedo Live. I hope you found this useful. I apologize for the folks on the South Shore that I didn't have a U.S. captain joining me tonight. Like I said, I think Lucas he's on a charter tonight, probably a bumpy charter, knowing there's some winds out of the northwest, or was. It's actually calmed down now. It's pretty much nothing. But hopefully still found this beneficial. Last question, and I'll break. I do have Brian asking me, how far of rigor are you running your lines? Brian, I believe in the rule of 100. So for me, if I'm running a rigger down 50 feet, I'll have a leader 50 feet back off the ball. If I'm running it down 80 feet, I'll have 20. If I'm running it 90, I'll have 10. And if I'm running it over 100, I usually do 10 or 15 feet. That's it. So that's what I do. I actually, if you go to my own personal YouTube channel, if you look up Kings Landing Sport Fishing YouTube, I've got a YouTube channel, hundreds of videos. I've got one video on that very topic. But anyways, with that, I really enjoyed doing this for you guys. So, Joe, thank you. I thought it was a great show. I enjoyed doing this with you guys. And good luck out there. Be safe, especially if you got to go offshore this next little while. It's great to try and catch fish, but don't risk it if there's some winds. Because if you're offshore, 10, 15 miles and it kicks up, that can be a really ugly ride-in. So just make sure you pick the good day if you are going to go offshore. But with that, have a good one, folks. Stay safe and catch a big one. Talk to you later.